Hands on helmets. 10 seconds.
Welcome. I'm Chris McKean.
And I'm Andy Kiner. And this is...
Hi. Tracy
Kiner. We're all about cross-country racing, and usually it starts with 10 seconds.
But not in Iowa. In Iowa, it starts with hands-on helmets.
Dang, we got to knock the rust off, buddy.
Yeah, I was still trying to remember it.
And I did it on the phone. You normally have to have a sticky on my monitors, but I'm basic tonight, just a laptop. We're going with the flow.
I like that. I didn't think I'd ever hear that out of you.
I know you've broken me.
Your internet connection's not very good.
Okay, it could be the storm's potentially moving in as well.
Yeah, because you keep freezing.
Okay, that's good to know. Well,
I'll work on it behind the scenes, see if I can get it figured out.
Oh man, don't make me start choking. Oh yeah. How's it been? I was looking and it's been like 4 months. It's crazy. We've done a podcast.
Yeah.
Super, super busy on my end, and we meant to start a week earlier, but I've been sick for 2 weeks now. It's been.
I think we were going to start like 3 weeks ago, weren't we?
We were. Yep. Well, we were out of town too, so
we've had all kinds of setbacks.
Setbacks, and the last minute items and things to get ready for this year, and actually for 3 days from now. For some of us, we start Friday. You guys all will take off tomorrow night and Thursday.
Yep. So
let's get the big question out of the way, buddy. That you've been getting a lot of inquiries on, and I've already mentioned we're getting a little weather, I think, here tonight. What, you want to go ahead and do the icebreaker of let's get this off of Andy's chest right now on.
I don't really want to talk about it. I started getting texts and phone calls last weekend asking when we were going to postpone. It hasn't even rained a drop yet, but when are we going to postpone? So
I don't foresee us postponing. So anybody that's got that in their mind, mark it. We're not postponing. I don't think the land can hold it. I mean, we got a lot of rain last night here, and you couldn't barely tell this morning that we got anything. It was all dried up. Everything's turned green. But I think we'll be good to go.
I literally just got off the phone with the neighbor that lives right across the street, just right before we got on here. And he just said the exact same thing. We are so dry. It's not even funny. So I asked him, I said, what's your thoughts on it? And he goes, I think the rain that we get each day is going to be dry the next day. That's how dry it is here. So he didn't see anything that would stop us either, as far as being muddy and stuff. He goes, it takes so much rain to get it to be like sloppy mud, He goes, it's going to soak right in just so quick. But so here's the thing, Chris, the track itself, not an issue. Now, don't get me wrong. There might be a few places that the riders has been there before can think, oh gosh, that's going to be sketchy, such and such. But Paul and I talked last night for a good half hour on the phone, and we think we got 3 changes to make. They're all easy changes. Some of them we're probably going to just go ahead and make, just so that we've done it. We're all ready. For some reason, everything blows over, then we might put it back in. But a couple of the hills, we got a sketchy downhill. The creek crossings, most of the creek crossings are fine. It's just the very last one going this direction, which will be taken off going north, which we'd call the original direction, opposite of last year. So the very, very end of that, we go through a creek and then we have an uphill. Kel George would know exactly where that's at. But we'll probably yank that out just right away. It'll be a lot easier getting out there in the way that we're going to go. So I guess what I'm getting at is, long story short, the track is not an issue at all.
No.
This place holds water good. It's a lot of rock, where typically at most tracks where the low spots that would get muddy, we got rock, so it's not and last weekend, or I'm sorry, 2 weeks ago, when Dean and Adam and I was there, you would have to drive around or walk around the creeks to even try to find water. That's how dry it was. So it's not going to hurt the track at all. So that's a moot point for anybody that thinks that that's going to be the issue. It's not. The issue is obviously getting in and getting out. I just looked at an updated weather there. It's changing every darn hour. So, but it's the amounts is going down fast. Most of the rain's going to hit us tomorrow and then Thursday. And then unfortunately we got some coming in. They're still calling for an inch between Friday night and Saturday morning, early Saturday morning. So as of right now, I still think that's going to set up and be okay, but we're preparing if we have to pull in. The only thing I would say is if there's any way not to bring the biggest trailer you got this weekend, this might be a good one not to bring it. I know it makes it kind of rough on some people because, it's just the way you do things, but if there's ever been a race that, you're going to come in and race for the day and go and maybe not even camp, then this is probably the one that we would encourage it. But we'll get them in if we need to, we will. So, but everybody knows that these fields just nothing happens here. Zero. There's nothing. There's no traffic outside of when we're there. So it just like a little sponge, and it can get soft and there's no really super flat parking. It's not bad, but there's always just that little tiny incline that, that where we've had issues at. But I believe with the wind and everything, I think everything's going to dry up each day. And I believe that on Saturday after the races, people are going to be able to drive out of there. I really do.
Good.
So that's kind of my overview, but I will say this. I do know we have people coming from a long ways. We will assess everything Thursday morning. And by Thursday at noon, I'm going to say noonish. Like if we can tell by Thursday morning, we're going to be there tomorrow night, not at the track probably, but we'll be down there, probably going to stay in town, get there too late. And then when we get there Thursday, we'll assess the thing, look at it by how it's raining that day. It's light to moderate rain, it looks like, for the most part. So we'll assess it. We'll let everybody know that, hey, if we're not really, we're looking good right now, we might say, hey, by 5:00 tonight, we're going to look at it again for you. You know what I mean? And give an update. But I can't really tell anybody right now that, I'll have it Thursday morning. That's what I want to, for sure. But I'll at least let them know what's going on, how it's looking and stuff. But I just think it's going to soak in. I don't know. I think it's going to be good. So I think the track can actually be perfect after all this rain. But
okay, well, good news.
Yeah, we know. Hey, Chris, here's the thing. We know the track is going to be good.
Okay.
Now, but the biggest thing is nothing's let up after 3 or 4 months of doing this.
Yeah.
What was the scoring going to be?
Well, registration's all fine and dandy, 100% tested. I've been playing around with scoring pretty much on and off on winter, but it'll get its final test tomorrow night. So,
and we've got
to make sure the TVs work okay, that the new system display works. Even though I've been displaying it and played around with it all winter, just wanted to have that confidence going in. We're not going to have any issues.
So the people that weren't at the banquet, I think that's about the only time we talked about this. Can you tell us, like, what's the changes there with the scoring other than being on time, of course?
We're always on time. With scoring, we're moving away from the LED screen and the countdown clock, and we are moving to a television screen. So it should have everything all in one screen for us. We've got a couple 32-inch TVs that we're going to start using. One for, of course, the live results where spectators can come up and look, but the other screen will be for the racers to come up, and it's going to display basically what the LEDs, but in a more, I think, visual looking display, I guess you can say. And also has the countdown as well on how long we've been racing. So it's all good. I think it's good improvements for this year as we continue to grow. Kind of excited for this new system, and I see some potential. Maybe we'll have in the future maybe a different screen underneath the scoring tent. So when they're coming in, maybe they can have a visual right coming through, up close version. We'll test that out as well, but that's on my radar here. Maybe mid-season we'll get to that.
So just to be clear, there's really no changes as far as what I'm going to see when I come in. All the information that we had before is still there, correct?
Yep, it's the same scoring system, even though we've testing and behind the scenes discussing, moving to a new system. But for what we're going to do this year, we're going to stick with the same scoring system, but not rule out maybe switching in the future.
Gotcha. So all the information will still be the same that I'm seeing, my count, my clock, my how far I am behind, the class, all that stuff's there. The only difference is I'm seeing on the screen, which, I was probably the one dragging my feet on making this change, when you brought it up. But after seeing you practice this, to me, it's actually a heck of a lot easier to see.
I think it is.
The old one, it seemed to me like, I don't know if you noticed this too, but I went up and taking pictures like when someone was coming through, and you can't see that old one with when they take pictures. It doesn't, I don't know, it's kind of goofy. But that new one, the 32-inch screens, it seemed like the background behind it made it much easier to see, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's a good improvement.
Good.
Also still have live scoring. Hopefully we'll see some changes. We're still working on some bugs, but thanks to Tracy, she got us the Starlink. So we're moving from a hotspot to a Starlink, which we'll hopefully get some testing done on Friday with that and make sure everything's good to go for live scoring. It's the same live scoring that we've used. We have to use it with the scoring system, but no changes. Everybody should still be able to access through the website the live scoring link.
So really, Trace and Chris both, I mean, with that Starlink, we should never really have issues with our internet. Should always be up then, correct? That's
the goal. I mean, I can't promise nothing. Nothing's guaranteed, but
right,
we're working. We've heard everybody's concerns about it, and we're trying to make the best effort to keep that up and going at every race.
Yeah, because I know we do have a couple races. It seemed like, I even told you the time that I was watching it, it's cutting out. But there's a couple of these places that were just out in the middle of nowhere and down low that no matter what we did there, I know you guys tried, but you just couldn't stay consistent with that. So really hoping this Starlink, if it's as good as everybody says it is, we should be pretty good then. So,
yep. Hopefully.
Cool. And that's really all the changes, right? You've got some updates to the scoring system and some other stuff for Canesville, but for the most part, everything will stay the same, but just a lot easier, more visual, right?
Yeah, round 5 will be definitely a different type of race. everything will look the same. It's just how we do the scoring will be a little bit different. We're going from 14 rows in the adult class to potentially 60 rows. So at Canesville, so it's a little bit more technical behind the scenes for myself in the scoring system. But man, we tested the heck out of it this winter. Confident it's going to work, and that's why we've stuck with this system again for this year.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So Trace and Chris, let's take us back. We should have probably started there, but start us out with the very, very beginning. We've had a lot of new riders. I think we got 2 or 3 numbers today. I'm going to say we've probably got at least a half a dozen this week alone. And so, I mean, we've had a ton of new numbers and a lot of new riders, brand new ones, both youth and adults.
One, I think our technology, we're getting better. You can start at the gate. When you're coming into the gate, we're working on getting, what are they called? The squared point of service cell system. So coming through the gate, people don't always have to have cash on them. We're working towards a system where they can come in and pay with the card at the gate. And we've also offered, thankful for what Zach does behind the scenes, but he's also updated the website where you could actually pay with your race entry fee. You can pay for the gate up front as well. It's all printed behind the scenes, and we'll have that printed off at for Cora and Ricky at the front gate. So lots of improvements. I think even all around as we try to,
And we lost Chris.
I'm back. No?
There you are.
So don't know where I cut off there, but as everybody goes cashless, we're trying to prepare and accommodate for that. So
sounds good. So we've got in the gate now. We've got in there. We know we can. Well, still, let me clear this up. As of right now, it's still cash at the gate, the first race, unless you paid for everything up front, correct?
Yep. I think round 2 will be all set up for the point of service cells stuff.
Okay. Yep. So I'm brand new to this. I've answered a ton of questions, but just going over it. We've gotten in the gate now. We know that the gate closes at 10 o'clock at night. No, 11 o'clock at night, and it opens back up Saturday morning at 6 o'clock. Okay.
Okay.
Once I get in, I've got through the gate. I've signed everything. What is you two explain, where do I go from here?
Well, from there you park, and after you park and find a parking spot, pretty much when you come through that gate at Trenton, you're going to the left after you pay. Most people go to the left. Yeah, the more open field.
So why we're on this though, just to cover it, I'm glad you said that. So yes, a lot of people go to the left, but it's all been mowed thanks to Mike and Daryl down there. They all got everything done. However, I want to make sure when we're clarifying this, if you have a youth racing, either one of the youth classes, they don't go on the left side. They are only on the right side. So I highly recommend all of the youth, if they want to be on pit lane, is to turn, go to the right. So just wanted to clarify that.
If there's not enough spots over there to park, you can always, right after scoring against the barn where we do the awards, there's always, 150 feet or so of pit space that they can walk over and pit their rider from there.
But even the right side is really nice, Chris. It's set up good. There's actually some good level parking there too. So, but I just want to clarify that kids, both sessions, they're not on the left. They'll only be on the right. That's when you come in. So just a heads up there. So go ahead though. I've gotten parked now, and we know, like, new guys, the pit lane is set up with the orange cones, and basically there you don't back right up to the orange cones. That's the track, is the orange cone. So you need to stay at least 15, 20 feet back with the trucks and trailers and stuff. So, but anyway, I've gotten my parking spot now, and I need to go see the registration. Tell me where we go from there if there's any changes this year.
Tracy, you want to take the lead?
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm about to cough, so I apologize. I wasn't supposed to be talking this much, as I told Andy, my throat can't handle it.
Tried to get you help.
Yeah. When they come up to registration, they need to make sure they bring their AMA card. We need to make sure they bring their helmets. We'll be checking the AMA expiration date, and bring the helmets up. It's a lot easier when you come up. We have new scanners we were trying out middle of last year. You basically put your helmet up against our scanner, and it auto-populates all your information in the scoring in the registration system, so the gals don't have to do a name search. Much quicker to get you through the line and get you processed. Yeah, and if they prepay pretty quick, last year we what did we say, under 30 seconds or so? We're pretty quick getting them in without being timed.
I was just saying, how many times did I come up and check you and time you? And I can say 100% of the time you guys are under 30 seconds.
Yep. So it's our goal. But this first race we're probably going to be a little slower, especially those with youth, and we'll get on that. As far as adults go, if you're over 18 or 16, the minor form's not needed. We just basically need them, pay if they haven't paid online, and get you moving. Those with minors, we need to have the minor release forms. Some people have been sending them to us. We'll keep track of those. But if you haven't done so, you can go to AMA. Do you know the link, Andy? AMAracing.org, is it? And you can select or do a search, I think, for minor release. But go out there and fill out that minor release form, print a copy, or they email a copy to you. Just bring it that information on your phone, and we'll get it marked that you have the AMA for the year. Put it in the registration system so we don't have to keep asking.
And on that too, I think I didn't ask Trace, but I'm sure she's fine with this. If somebody has have an issue or question on that, if they text me, we can send them a link to that right away.
Yep. Kyle Burnham asked me where they should send them. You can email them, Andy Kiner at yahoo.com.
No. Don't send them to that one. Sorry.
You can email them to the IATVHSS at msn.com, or
Kyle,
bring them and show us at the race.
Kyle, I did get the ones that you sent me today. Those have been forwarded to Tracy, so you don't have to resend those again. I think that's pretty well. We'll have t-shirts there as well for the new racers who maybe haven't had an opportunity to go to Bogren Motorsports and get a custom number plate if they wish. We have number plates and numbers available for purchase at registration, along with t-shirts. And it looks like you're wearing, is that a new version of the hat this year?
It is.
I
think there's 4 different color combos, isn't it? 4?
I think so.
4 or 6 or something, yeah. But yeah, there's some different ones, but yeah, they're pretty nice. So
yeah, so hats. I'm sure you might have a few hoodies, Tracy.
No hoodies this time.
No hoodies this race. Well, okay.
We don't get hoodies when it's cold. We'll have them in July.
It was 90 when I was doing my order, so it's kind of hard to order.
It's kind of nice just sitting back and let Chris do it.
I know, you're making me do all the talking. Amanda had a question. You can show us the card they provide. Yes. A lot of times it is just the card you can print off. You could show that to us as well, Amanda. And like I said, it's just a button that we keep track of. on the registration side, just to make sure that everybody's covered.
Cool.
So, all right.
So
I think I got registration done.
So the only part that I don't think did very well on, Chris. Everything else you did well on. Take a drink. Take a break for a second. Okay. Every year you guys do great. I walk up, I don't see lines hardly at all, except the very first race.
Yeah.
Why is it? I know the answer, but I want you two to tell me. Why is it that there's always a line like 50 deep at the first race?
I think there could be several reasons, and I'm going to throw up right now a QR code.
Changing classes.
Changing classes. People not filling out the questionnaires. So we do a questionnaire every year. It helps us go and revalidate everybody's information. This year's low numbers. I'll tell you, 74 adults and 74 kids have filled out a questionnaire for us. So that's only 148 that will come through registration and be okay. In addition to those that are prepay. I mean, if you prepay and you have a profile out there, then you don't have to do the questionnaire. It just makes it easier because I've go through and try to validate that information all winter long. It's just we're a little low on the return, so it'll slow it down.
So, Chris, I probably don't do a good job of this because I know I have people asking me, and you know as well as anybody, I always send them, I'm like, I need to get you to talk to Trace or Chris about this. It's not my cup of tea. But tell us really quick, I don't think people understand you are doing a lot when it comes to this, not just the pre-registration, but the questionnaire. Tell us, when I fill out a questionnaire, number one, tell me the difference between not doing it and the difference in doing it. And then tell me, once we fill it out and you guys get the information, then now what do you do with that information? How tell me the process that makes it so easy for me as a rider.
Well, the process makes it easier for everybody once everything's completed. If you do the questionnaire, then you don't have to fill out an entry form manually at every round. That's your own time. However, it takes you to write through that information down. If you do the questionnaire, basically I take that information, verify it with the databases. Helps us clean up the databases as well, because we have kids that basically, we have 3 databases we have to run, right? One for each session: youth, mini, and then our adults. So if I have a kid jumping from mini to youth, then I can kind of clean up that youth and mini databases to get rid of maybe a kid that's no longer in that session. It helps clean it up. Less storage, less data, less that we have to kind of keep track of. But it also helps the racer, if they do the questionnaire, all they have to do is come up to the window. They don't have to fill out any work. We got it all printed out, which I will start printing tomorrow night after the cutoff. And all they got to do is come to the window. We pull it, their form, entry forms, and make sure that they just have to sign the form, indicating that they're there and indicate what race they're at, and we'll enter them in the system. But
I still bring my helmet up too, correct?
Bring the helmet, yes. And there's multiple reasons why we ask for the helmet. I know some people forget and they think it's, inconvenience, but we check not only the transponder is good, especially after sitting all winter, that some of them are going to get bad. Some of them probably have dirt underneath of them. So it's a good opportunity for us to scan them, make sure that they're working. And if they also need a side, what we call the barcodes, which we put on both sides of the helmet, if those need to replace, we'll replace them at that time as well.
Gotcha.
Just making sure that backup scoring is as good as the barcode transponder as well.
So all in all, it's pretty simple for me to fill out a questionnaire, isn't it?
Your 2 minutes of your time will save you and us 5 minutes every race.
Okay. Now, not only that, but what I'm getting at too is I don't think people realize the time behind the scene that you are putting in to transfer all this stuff. It actually creates more work for you before the races start, but it helps speed the process up for everybody during the races, correct?
You know, it does. It's a lot of time behind the scenes that I'll do to verify all the information one by one. Even if people that fill out the questionnaire may not fill it out correctly or provide all the information. So some digging that I might have to do. But printing off, it takes, with the good old printer, it takes about an hour before every race to print everything off. And we're talking, by the time we were round 7 last year, we were printing nearly 400 pieces of paper before each race.
Wow.
And that's everybody that filled out a questionnaire, that to make that process at registration go quicker for everybody.
So let's go back to this line of 50. And I'm not joking when I say that. You guys both know at the first race, it's one of the few times I can say most of the time everybody can fit underneath the doors, of the swing outs for the registration. But it seems like that's the only time I ever see that big line going clear back there. Feels like I'm at a GNCC race, So in order to speed that up for me, number one, I can pre-register, right, by 5 o'clock Thursday, correct?
Off our website. Yep.
Off the website, which is very easy to do. On there now, you already said earlier, I can take care of my registration. I can take care of even my gate now, correct?
Yep. We're going to try that.
Yep. People have asked for it, so that's why you're trying to take this extra step. So I got my pre-registration. What else can I do? Maybe you've already said it. I'm just trying to clarify it. What else can I do to make sure that I don't have to stand in this line? Because I don't think so. So number one, it's not that there's just more people signing up, but that first race, if you haven't done the questionnaire or the pre-registration, that means we have a lot of information to put into the system all at once, correct?
Correct. And also the minor release form. So if you don't have that minor release form, then you've got to fill out that information there at the track. And that's every race, correct, Tracy?
Mm-hmm.
That if you don't go out and do the annual release off the AMA website, get your annual release card or print out that email, you have to do an annual release or a release at every race for minors.
Yes.
So annual release, if I have a minor,
yep, it's
so much easier, I think, too, than having to do it, especially this weekend, maybe even in the elements, but to go out there to AMA's website, get the annual release done, correct?
Correct.
The other thing is, I see that takes time for you guys, and I'm not knocking anybody there or even the people coming in, is my AMA card, correct? That's probably the most manual thing you got to do, isn't it? So it don't seem like it, but if it takes, instead of 30 seconds like you guys were talking earlier, then now all of a sudden it could easily take 5 minutes by the time someone comes up there and fills out all the stuff, AMA card, minor release, and paying for registration, correct? Possibly shirts or something like that. So there's a big difference when you can take 30 seconds per hit and 5 minutes per hit. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm just trying to clarify. When I first came up, I don't know, 2-3 years ago down there, I was like, what in the world is going on? But then you guys, kind of schooled me on it and said, hey, there's a lot of information, even if it's just, getting signed up for the first year, and I've switched from a Yamaha to a Honda, those are all changes that we've got to make, that day going in there. So, and that's another thing too, I want to clarify really quick, because I don't think you two see it, but I see it when I'm handing out awards every day or every race. And there's all the times I see someone says Iowa. No, I'm from Missouri, but you keep saying Iowa, or there's times where, we don't have it says Kawasaki, but I'm on a Polaris, So all that stuff, number one, it's got to start with the person filling out the registration, correct? We've got to have that information. As much information as we have going on that day, there will be some mistakes. I mean, that's just plain simple. You know what I mean? We try not to, but there might be a mistake. So if you do see something like that, please let the registration know that, hey, I'm not on a Kawasaki, I'm on a Honda, or whatever, so we can make that change right away, so you're not having to deal with it the whole year. But that's why we have to have all that information correct the first time, and so much information is on that first race that I think that's why we have so much. So we have our lines being bigger typically at this race. So if I want to speed the whole process up, online minor, online AMA card, I can pre-register. When I'm pre-registering, then I can also do my gate. Anything I missed, Chris?
No, I mean, you're right on. I mean, you're preaching to the choir about the registration, and it also is informational for those if they're asking or wondering why it's taking so long. It's those little things.
Yeah.
So,
Are we still going to have our pre-registration line where they get a cut past everybody if they pre-registered?
We'd like to try that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the prepays online that are paid up, and basically all we need is signature. We might open a third window and just like an express. If there's a third or extra person in there, push them through and get them through there faster.
And correct me if I'm wrong, that might be hard to do Friday night, right? We may not have the personnel in there on Friday night this race, but Saturday we can definitely be doing that for sure. So,
yep.
But Friday night, always less people up there anyway. So,
yeah, it'll be Tracy and myself on Friday, hopefully.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Also, let's talk about what time registration opens. We never talked. So Fridays, even though we might be getting set up and you might see the windows and open and computers going, normally we shoot for 3:00, correct, Tracy?
Yeah.
That we start registration. So if our windows are up and we're still trying to get things organized or folding shirts, and it might be 2 or 2:30, kind of give us until 3:00 to get ourselves organized and make sure that we have everything in place to get that registrations going.
And what time do you usually shut it down?
Shutdown is usually somewhere around dark. Kind of does slow down most races 7:30. But towards the middle of the summer, those rounds 3, 4, 5, especially round 5, we might stay open later. Sometimes 9:00.
Yeah.
But we'll open right back up Saturday morning, usually 7:30 or so at the latest.
By 7, I'm up.
Yeah, 7.
And how soon do I have to register if I'm racing?
We need to strictly enforce the rule this year that you have up until 1 hour prior to start of the race that you need to register. I mean, there was one family last year that youth, very first class, that was late every time, and it put kind of the rest of us behind because we need to make sure our registration's all in order, so then we can go over the scoring system and get scoring set up. Always like to do the final test, and just because we have all that data, there's still the little things that I have to do over to make sure that we're ready to go for you guys.
So really quick on that, because I don't think people realize that. And I'm behind the scenes, and I'll be honest, I'm usually probably more vocal sometimes.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts when I see, I give you crap about being on time to start, right?
Mm-hmm.
If everybody is signed up, and if you're going to be late getting there, call us, let us know you're going to be late. We can get everything ready for you. So all you got to do is sign and get up there. But it delays everything. So I personally think I'm patting all of us on the whole team on the back when I say this. The last 2 years, I feel like we've broken the kinder time. We've done really good job where we might be 5 minutes late getting started here, but we've been 5 minutes early over here type thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I think we're pretty close to being on time, but it drives me insane when I see that person that's there all weekend, and then all of a sudden they come up at 20 minutes before, I need to pre-register. I need to register.
Yeah.
So tell me, I know what it does to me as far as getting people lined up and starting, But let's start from the beginning when that happens, just so everybody, because I think sometimes we can self-police, and make sure that, hey, have you registered yet? Because you need to get registered. Because if Joe that's camping with you decides not to get up there and register when he should or she should, what is that doing to me as a racer? Number one, you guys can't shut down registration, correct?
Normally, we can't shut down registration, and if we do, it's we have to transfer and do all that over at scoring. So it's kind of we don't want to leave anybody behind, but I think we got to start enforcing the rule maybe a little bit more. And hours are good. I mean, sometimes we fill because it's that first race at 8:30, 7:30 is the cutoff for the youth. Sometimes that's where we kind of start behind, but if we start behind in that first race, then we're kind of get behind all day long.
Correct. And that's where it leads to me, Chris, and I'm not trying to be mean, but I give you crap, but I understand. I like giving you crap, obviously, but if someone does that, I just want to clarify this one more time. I'm not trying to beat a dead horse here, but me out there registering my kid or registering myself to race, and now I have somebody that comes up and registers late. Don't you literally have to, if you've already stopped the registration, don't you have to basically open it back up and redo that then? Resubmit all the information?
If we stop it at the registration trailer, then once I get everything tested, because that's where I need a half an hour, in all honesty, before we start a race to do my check and balances with that registration data. It goes over to scoring. We verify that we've got all the transponder numbers correct. We're all human. Sometimes if you get a new transponder number, we either add an extra 0 in there or sometimes we forget a 0. So our transponders always start with E55, and lately it's 4 or 5 zeros. So that's one of the check balances I've got to do. We got to get the starting order for each class. Even though we might have all that information up front, it's still the little things I got to do to make sure that we're ready to go. And it does take me, and I'll always like to do a test run, make sure everything's set up, running right. Because there are times where, I might be sitting and I got to restart it. You hear it maybe once every other race where I've got to restart the scoring system because something didn't feel right to me, and we just got to restart to make sure everything's running okay.
So you correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're supposed to be signed in an hour before and you don't get that done, you delay the process for everybody, correct?
It does. Yeah.
For everybody. So one person could delay 150 people on the line starting out.
Yeah.
And that delays you guys getting the information in. That delays you of getting the check done. And after we've played the national anthem and the prayer, 5 minutes before we're supposed to start, and we get done, and I have to announce, Chris, are you ready? And you tell me I'm not, and I'm giving you a hard time, but I know usually when you tell me this, what the problem is. And when you say I need 5 more minutes, I need 10 more minutes, and everybody's like, I want people to understand why that is most of the time. So if you know somebody that's not getting registered, please, or just ask amongst your whole camping crew or your group, everybody's everybody's registered, right? Making sure you're done. Don't be afraid to come up and do it on Friday night and get it over and done with if you have it pre-registered. But it is what it is for us. I just, at a point, it's hard to tell everybody like, oh God, I wish we could get started on time. And I haven't heard that for quite a while, but even just that little bit. I mean, I know last year there's a couple times that you and I both know we were ready to start probably 10 minutes ahead, but we had to wait for stuff to be getting done that should have been done, so.
And I foresee that, like, I really want the goal this year. I can't promise on the youth, but the mini, I don't foresee us, and we should never start late there. And even the adult, we have that time built in, if they're late to the line, maybe they're the ones that are late to the line, but we need to, you're going to try to be on time.
Another thing I would say, if you're in line and there's some adults in front of you, maybe ask, hey, my kid's coming up. Can I get in line? I would think most adults, or if they're not getting ready to race, that they would let you go ahead, because sometimes that's happened too, or doing adults and we should be doing the kids or whatever. So if you say kid, maybe ask them if they want to go ahead of you or something too. So
All right. Yeah, that's enough. What else? What's the fun stuff, man? We're supposed to hype up the season.
I think that was the fun stuff. Thanks,
Hi, Trace. Thanks for your time.
yeah.
I think getting everything going at the very beginning and just flowing, makes it fun compared to the alternative, But no, I agree. But I just forgot what I was going to tell you. I'm sorry.
No, good.
But
well, I have a couple things we haven't discussed. We got to thank our crew. Be going into the season that the track guys have already been out there at the track a couple times now, as they always do throughout the year. So you got to give props to the track guys. And I ask that people be lenient to our registration gals, Kim, Tracy, and Tina. The first race is chaotic. Behind the scenes and a little stressful. So just be a little patient if there is a line, but we'll do every effort we can to get everybody through as quick as possible. No 3-hour wait line here.
No.
So,
but really quick too, why you said that made me think. If you were one that last year that always got told that you're on a Yamaha and you were racing a Honda, don't wait till the awards to say something. When you sign in that day, if like say Tracy's signing you in, say, Tracy, can you double check to make sure that I'm on, you know what I mean? And so we can get that fixed right away.
And it happens.
Absolutely. It's not always the person filling out the papers. They could easily put Honda and you've been on Yamaha before and we overlook it because you're trying to hurry, that's going to happen. Yeah.
Also suggest, that people that are switching classes, just confirm you're in the class. I have lots of messages from people texting me, reaching out, indicating they signed up maybe on the questionnaire for one class, but decided to go do a different class. Step up and just say, hey, I need to be in the plus 30 class instead of the A class. I think that's a popular class this year. I've had several. The plus 30 class. Plus 30.
Yeah.
So, it's human error.
I just had one went from, I think it was plus 40 to a skill level class. So yeah, just here within the last couple of days. So it's definitely, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to change classes. Just, I will always tell you this while we're on this subject. Remember, you can go up, you can't necessarily go down, so please don't take that step too fast. Be patient moving up, not saying I'm waiting for someone to text. Yes, you can, because you let somebody go down, you can go down by protesting or, not protesting. What do you call it? Basically bringing it up to us with the reason why, we will look at that. If you've been out of the sport for 10 years, such and such. The one thing I can promise you, you guys seen me throw a fit last year. I'm going to bring this up again. If you've raced with us for 10 plus years and you try to sign in under the first year class, no, not happening. So first year is only for first year. If you've raced more than 3 races, right in the rules, if you race more than 3 races, you cannot go back to first year. Okay.
Yep.
So if I raced 2 last year, I can still race first year this year, the whole year, because I've only previously raced 2. But once you've gotten into a class, it's hard to move back down. So I just always say, watch taking too big of a jump. I love the guys and gals that are willing to do that. But also, if it don't work out, it's hard to go back down. So, but let's see that. Boy, I'm forgetting everything. I need to start writing stuff down.
Well, I threw up Talib out there. So we got a message. Chad was busy, couldn't join us, but threw us a message that he will have 110 fuel on at the track to pump You bring your 5-gallon can and you can fill it up for $80. He'll also have other VP and Thai fuels available. And yeah, just see him at, which normally has his Tylube van, but we're understanding maybe he'll just have trailer this weekend. So speaking of Tylube, Tylube hooked you guys up as far as track guys. What did you guys all get this year?
We can't thank them enough.
They're
taking care of all the guys. They're there all the time. With I know there's brake cleaner in there this year, which their brake cleaner is awesome. Oil. There's a couple different fluids in there, but there's all the oil to change oil on the machines that keep the guys running. It's just phenomenal. Everybody got a box. I think everybody got a hat. Did you get a hat, Chris?
Nope, I'm not a track crew guy.
But no, Tylube does a great job of really taking care of. They're one of the first ones. I'm not saying there hasn't ever been anybody, but they've just done a really good job of not just trying to help everybody, but behind the scenes, making sure the guys, because think about it. These guys are having their machines out there. They got their campers out there, their food, their vacation. They're out there busting, all the time, getting these tracks done for them. So for someone to think of them, like Tylube, to think of them to help out like that, we can't think enough. So mad props to Tylube. So, yep. Chris, the one thing I wanted to mention too, I know this is a lot of very informational. It's like an info commercial. It
is an hour-long commercial.
That's right. But here's the thing. I can't beg everybody enough. Please get to the line early, not 5 minutes early. We got a lot to go over.
We're talking about the starting line. Clarify
the starting line, our riders meetings. Okay. And we got some special stuff. We have the passing of the gloves for Zach Schrock this weekend. Little Styles will have the opportunity to, I don't know what session he'll be doing that at. If it'll be the first session or the second, maybe I can find out from him, and don't need to know who, but maybe just which session so we know. But that's a thing where, in honor of Zach Schrock, he gets those gloves at the awards banquet, not to keep, but to keep the thing alive of passing the gloves along. So he'll give those pair of gloves to one rider, either in the 50cc group, or the youth group, one of the first two sessions. So please be there early so we can get that taken care of. We can go over the start and everything. So we always have new people, and then get the national anthem and the awards done, or not the awards, national anthem and the prayer done. We'd like to have all that done about 5 till, so you can warm your machines up, and everything. So literally about 10 till, we need to start the national anthem and prayer. So if you're there 15 minutes early, it's not going to be good enough. So try to be there this time. I would say about 25 minutes early. We have a very special thing that's going to happen at every single riders meeting this time. All you got to do is come down and listen. And I promise you'll be blown away. We'll let it out of the hat race day, but we got to thank one of our racers later on for this. It's a really cool thing. Chris, you have no idea. I told you the other day, I got a surprise for you.
Yeah.
I'm surprising everybody. So it's unbelievable. So, but anyway, we'll have that at the riders meeting every time before, while you're getting lined up. Just come down and take a listen. But yeah, please be to the riders meeting early. I'd say about half hour to 25 minutes early to get your spot, but then so we can get everything, so we can get started on time. So we'll have to cut it short.
Talk about some of the other things. We got the Hotsies return this year. So that's within the last week or so, we got that confirmation. So I've been busy making some hole shot shirts. So fresh off the press this weekend. Excited to have them back. And again, I mean, something spectacular. I don't know if you released that, but we'll talk about that hole shot challenge round 7 and what's going to happen this year with it.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that till we get Mr. Tyrell on here. So We got a couple guys that like to have on here for that. So,
Yep.
but yeah, we'll talk about that at a next couple issues of Hands on Helmet podcast. But we have that. We also have within the last 3 days, Power Sports Share is back on as the title sponsor. We're going to have a lot of communication updates with them, letting everybody know kind of what's going on there all the time. We're really excited about that. They're making headway. It's tough to get that thing started and what they're doing. And they've been just working their tails off, and we're just proud to have them back on, helping the series do what we want to do, by being the title sponsor. So I will tell everybody, we've got most of our sponsors back. We've got a few that we didn't have back on this year. We got a few that felt like was probably going to be back on, but it's been hard to get a hold of some people and get return calls. Unfortunately, what that caused us to do is we will not have our awards banner the first race. We've been struggling to get some stuff on there, find out, and it's the phones just haven't been connecting. So we will have it the second race for sure, but we will not have it this first race again. Second year in a row we've been like this, but yeah. So anyway, a lot of good things behind the scenes going on.
Let's talk about, normally we try to do a preview and we kind of do a look of what's to come for each class. But like I said, questionnaire numbers are a little low. I really just don't want to throw out there of who's who and what class, as it does sound like with the messaging lately, people are changing. So maybe after that first race, we can do a kind of a recap and pick who we think we're going to do good this year. Super excited to see the youth, as always. We kind of talked about that youth. Are we going to break the 100 again? It's goal. I've seen lots of new requests for numbers for youth, so we know that some are moving up, so that would be a goal to continue that trend of 100 youth riders.
Yeah, and one of the things, Chris, as well as I do, we all talk about this all the time, but of the series I am most proud about, I always say our youth divisions by far is the thing that we're most proud of. It's the heart and soul of the series. But I absolutely love watching the kids that move up. And I don't want to start mentioning all the names because I'll forget.
Yeah.
But all of them, and feel like I leave somebody out. But I know there's some kids moving up that was just in 90 stocks last year, even the year before, and is now going to be on a 250 or 300 this year. And I absolutely love watching that, how they've grown, and now they're in there. And even more is, I'm not going to get off subject, but a lot of people think that I don't like them going to other races. You and I both know we only do 7 races for a reason. If you love racing and that's your thing, I want you to be that way. You have time to go do it. And when they go out those places, we see these kids that came up. Oh my gosh. Some of them are, let's be honest, they're schooling the competition when they go other places.
Yeah.
And I love it. So we've got another great group of them moving up this year into the adult, which is, again, you go from an hour to 2 hours. You go from a non-clutch to a clutch half the time. Big hills, long course, and a lot changes, and I'm always impressed on how they handle it. So,
and I think we got a couple doing double duty.
I'm sure. Yep.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting to see. But man, I don't know about you, but have you seen all the posts? the youth are inspiring. They're coming out with their own shirts now.
Yeah.
I'll have a couple more shirts come first race of the youth riders, and I'll wear them proud. So.
Yeah, it's really cool. The families, one of the coolest things I've seen is not what you just said, the shirts coming out and the how proud the families are to be there and support each other, But I don't know if you've seen that the other day. I think it was the day we went down and worked on the track. There was a family that must have had an open invitation or something. And they look like there's 20 or 30 youth riders there practicing at one place all together. And the practice is awesome. I love seeing that. But man, you've seen all the stuff behind the scenes of them playing and eating and everything and everybody together. That is what it's all about. I just absolutely, I love that. But it's just cool seeing all that stuff. And I don't know about you, but I'm starting to see a lot more stuff online too. When the guy needs a part, man, people are offering the parts up. They're offering to help. I've seen quads. If you can't get it, I got a quad you can use type thing. I've seen youth parents, that, hey, just so you know, if someone's wanting to try it, I got this machine. Someone could try it, Yeah. It's just some of that stuff we've never seen before. And it's growing, and you see that kind of stuff. Man, it just warms my heart. It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
So I cannot wait. I just wish the weather wasn't going to be quite what it is this first one, so you can kind of spend more time together, out in the open. But really quick, though, I don't want to get off your subject. Don't want to cut you short here, but I want to cover one thing, the parking and the track, because I know a lot of people have asked about this, okay?
All right.
And I think I kind of covered it a little bit earlier. I just had a text saying, you're going to say something. But so the track itself, I'm not worried about. We already mentioned we've got a couple changes. Paul and I went over it last night. We've walked through the whole track through our heads. We know exactly what we need to change. It's a very easy change. It will make it to where it's racing, not survival. It'll be fine. But the parking, though, we talked about, there's a left side, there's a right side when you come in, when you get to the barn. You get to registration, I go left or I go right. All the youth are on the right. You don't have to park over there, but that's only, just to be clear now, every single person will be going through the pits on the right side. Only the adults will be on the left side, okay? Yeah. But with that being said, the parking is probably going to be the biggest question mark we have with the weather. The road is actually in pretty good shape. Obviously, you just got to go slow. It's one path in, one path out. There's really nowhere to get over. The nice part is 90% of the people are coming in at the same time and leaving at the same time. We don't really have issues down there. We will have a tow vehicle available to get you pulled in, but I can't beg you enough. If you don't need the 50-footer and can bring a 10-footer this time, it'll really be a good idea. So not saying you're even going to have issues. You might still be able to drive out, but that will be the biggest issue is the big ones, getting them not only in there, but turned in the way they want it. And it might just be something where we're just start lining them up, if we're pulling very many. We'll just start lining them up, and unfortunately it may not be by who you want to be unless you come in together. So, but I think you're going to be fine. So, but I know I've talked to some, Chris, that said that, hey, I'm still in the back of my truck this time. I'm only going to be there on Saturday. And we hate that because, as well as I do, Friday night's one of the best times there and Saturday night. But again, if there's going to be a time that you have to do that, this would be that race. So I just wanted to cover that on the parking, the track, and then being able to be pulled in or pulled out. We will be available to do that. That's not a problem at all. So, okay. That's all I had on that part.
All right. Yeah, and because the ground has been soft in years past, it kind of feels a little spongy. But I think this year it's a little bit more solid. But just take the precaution, as you said. So.
Well, and keep in mind, so some people have always said, like, why is it like this? Why is it so soft? Well, there's nothing. We are the only thing going on there, Yeah. There's hardly a tractor even goes over where we park all year long, so it's literally just us. So it's taken a couple years to get it this way. Let's be honest with Mike and Daryl down there, Mike landowner, Daryl, the guy that does a lot of work there is, man, they've really helped us out a lot. We can't thank them enough. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, I think that's really all I had on that. I did want to cover one more thing because there's two things that I've been trying to get done and we've just been keep getting pulled in different directions. Number one, I want to apologize to everybody. I've had a lot of questions about getting the rest of the pictures from the banquet out. I got to get the rest of them out. Some of the award winners pictures, and then also some of the red carpet ones. I only got one session of those out yet. I'm still working on trying to get them. It's just me being slow on that. Number 2 is the Canesville. What's that?
Nothing. I was just going to make a smart comment. We'll let it slide.
Canesville. There will be a lot more information coming out on that race. Here's the situation that we have. Number 1, we hit a little speed bump down there. We can't get into the land till at least after turkey hunting season, okay, which is limiting us from being able to really get a feel of how long of a course we're going to have. That's one course that I want it to be longer than we typically do.
Mm-hmm.
But we're still working on some of the details. So that information will be coming out. I think 3 minutes before we got on here tonight, Sabrina just released another one of I think it's the third Pinland series. A lot more of that stuff is coming out. We've got some really cool things, Chris. I don't think I've even informed you of yet that we're working on behind the scenes for that race. One has to deal with the youth riders or all the kids. And I want to say it's so bad because there's so cool stuff going on. But that's just going to be a celebration in its own. It's I think we're just going to be blessed to have that as part of the series, and get people to see what our people can do, because it's going to be a really cool situation.
So let's recap, Canesville, it's going to be a highlight of what we do this year. And it's going to be an important factor for rounds 1 through 4, right?
That's where thank you.
So,
we haven't released that yet.
Oh, well, I'm releasing it right now unofficially. So an important thing about round 5, we've kind of hinted before that all the testing we're doing behind the scenes, and normally we have 14 rows in the adults classes, and we're going to move up to potentially 60 rows, 60 starting rows. It's unbelievable. When you approached me with this idea, I was like, how are we going to do it? But, it took some testing. I think I've got 20 plus hours just in gathering all the data behind it to make sure it's going to work.
No doubt in my mind. Yeah.
So 60 starting rows. And how's that going to be determined?
Well, and keep in mind, we will never forget, we're not doing the Heartland this year.
Yeah.
So we're doing something special at a series race. So when it's a series race, number 1, we got to look at the actual riders that participate in the series, the whole 7 race series, correct?
Yeah.
So with saying that, you and I both know, like you were just saying, we looked at several different ways of doing this. One being a huge time factor. You don't have the time to do this the night before. I'm not saying other series or other big GNCCs or something don't do it that way, but us with the group that we have that I feel is second to none, but it's still not the biggest group. We don't have time to do some of that stuff you and I have tried to do, and it's just not going to work. You would not get an ounce of sleep the night before Canesville if we did it the way we originally thought we could do this. So tell us, how are we going to line up after everything that's been done? How are we going to line up for Canesville?
Well, the first top 5 of every class guaranteed spots are based off points at rounds 1 through 4. So, for example, double A will start very first row, right?
Maybe.
At this point, double A will start first. So the top 5 riders and points, rounds 1 through 4 total, will start at the first 5 spots. So they'll start very first row. And then
6 through 10 will be the second row.
6 through 10 will be second row. And we can, people want to see a row layout, we can get that out. But those will be made up of double A riders, points, or registration based.
And that will go, every class will be like that. Based on your points is where you start. So if you have
top 5 are only guaranteed at that front row of that class.
Front row, correct. But then if you're 7th, you'll be the second starting position on the second row of that class.
Yeah.
So, and I believe as long as you're in the points, you will have a starting spot before we open it up. And then we talked with you and Trace about this. So is registration open now for that race?
Registration is open online.
Yeah. So you could register today or tonight for Canesville. Okay. And the benefit of doing that is if you're not in the points, okay. So let's just say AA, we have 15 people in that AA class. So that's a first 3 rows right there. So every 10 seconds, those rows are taken off.
Mm-hmm.
But now how do we figure out from there on, Chris? When you register, Zach, sorry. Yeah, but you and Trace, when you see that, you will mark a number 1 or the date or something like that. I think it's starting number 1, number 2, number 3. You guys are counting down. You'd figured out. So if I send it in tomorrow compared to where I send it in July, that, obviously tomorrow's will get the next starting spot. So it's how the registrations come in is where you will be put in for the starting spot from after the points people. Correct? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
So the sooner you get that in, the better it's going to help. And then we also,
and I believe with Canesville, we're going to have to implement a cutoff.
Correct. And I believe we talked about that being the Sunday before the event, I think is when we talked.
Correct. But I'm thinking even before then, if we know that a class is just too full, we may cut off a class.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We probably need to talk about that a little bit more.
Well, my concern is that, we get 500 racers because this is potential. It's going to grow.
Yeah.
I foresee it's getting there with the amount of outreach already regarding the race and requests for information. So it'll get there.
Yeah. The other thing on that though, too, we wanted to cover those 2 dates. We covered it at the banquet. The first cutoff will be July 1st, right?
Yes.
And if you pre-register, even if this is a pre-registration, so not just if you're in the points, you must pre-register by July 1st, and then you will get a shirt given to you as well. If you do it by July 1st, then the final cutoff will be when we shut off. And I mean, shut off is the Sunday before the event, which I don't have that right in front of me, but the event is August 1st. So the Sunday before that event would be when the final cutoff is. And I hope people understand why we have to do that. When we're going to make that many lines, Chris, we have to, number 1, you have to have it for scoring to get it set up. But number 2, we need to get copies of that. We want to be able to hand out so people know exactly what row you're on. And we will only have, I think we're going to settle it to basically a half-hour time. I would love to see us line up at the track before we go down, like parade downtown, which is only about a mile straight. It's a straight path right down the highway. And so you can just pull right into your lines. But nevertheless, you're not going to be able to just run down and back. We will hold everybody. And then after we do the awards for the kids, we will open the door for that parade to go out on the highway because they're going to close down the highway for us. And everybody will go down there, and you have a half hour's time to make sure that you're down there and get set up. So,
yep.
But okay. I didn't want to jump to Canesville, but that's some of the questions that we're getting on there. So I want to get out, especially how you're starting and how important points is leading up to that point. So,
yeah. And you talked, it's going to be kind of like a rolling start, right? That's where, everybody's going to come up, even though it's going to be 60 rows deep, doesn't mean that 60th row is a mile down the road.
Correct.
And continuously moving the groups up to the starting line, and then you'll take off from that starting line through. Where are they going to go through?
They're downtown? Going out. Yeah, it's not really a downtown. I don't want to make it out to be something it's not, but it's really cool. I mean, it's a couple hundred feet, to get out into the highway, and they're shutting the highway down. We make a U-turn in the highway, or 180, come back. We cut through the city park, cut through the city hall parking lot, down a hill, over a creek, and then we're shoot clear out. And it's about, I'm going to say, probably 2 to 2.5 miles the way we're going to even get to the track. Yep. So the start will definitely be the longer part.
Yeah, and I just got a question about live engine starts, and that's what it'll be this time. Absolutely
no hands-on helmets. Mm-hmm. It'll be hands on the throttle. It'll be live engines. I guess you'd call it more of a motocross start. And here's why. We don't have time for mistakes. We don't have time. We need to start everybody 10 seconds apart. So we'll send 5 first row, and in 10 seconds, I'm starting the next one. So 10, I'm going to say at the most 15. Okay. So it's very, very important that everybody knows, number one, the race isn't won on the first corner. If we get a pile up down there, we got to pull you up. It can screw everything up. So we got to use our heads on the start, number one. But yes, it'll be a live start. You will pull up, like Chris said, we might have 60 rows lined up, but when the first row takes off, the second row pulls up. We will have, most of them will be down the alleyway. You'll turn the corner. I'm going to guess there's going to be 5 to 6, maybe 7 lines that will actually be able to see the start. So once you pull up in there, you'll actually be able to see it. But you'll need to be on your machine the whole time and on time, ready to go, because when we go, we're going. There's no stopping. So, but yeah. So again, we'll cover Canesville much more when we got more times. I just want to get those stuff out there before our focus right now is getting the series started on time this weekend with the weather, getting everybody in, and just having fun. I mean,
and let's just make sure, Andy, that it's adults only will have this start.
Correct. The kids
will start normal.
Yep. They will all start normal at the track, not downtown. Correct. And there will be no youth riding their machines downtown. Let me just back up. That's another thing we need to talk about. But no youth will be riding on the streets. They have to be with an adult. You know what I mean? We'll allow the side-by-sides, the golf carts, whatever, to drive down there. Automobiles, no problem. But no kids will be driving, golf carts. They won't be driving that. No kids will be driving on the streets at all down there. That's the same thing, Chris. You know as well as I do how many times I've said this. I got some people that really listen, some people that don't listen at all. I don't know if you've seen this the other day, but I forget the series. I'd have to look it up. Came out with a thing that said on Facebook, enough or something like that. Absolutely no pit riding this year. 0 pit riding. When I was at the AMA meeting, the number one thing for insurance right now is pit riding. That's one thing that I guarantee you that hurt the side-by-sides on the insurance part of it, but it's going to be hurting us too. That will be the reason insurance goes up. Insurance went up. We didn't raise prices. I promise you that insurance will go up if we keep putting up with that, because here's the thing. You got to remember, all these people are posting pictures and posting their videos. It's all fun and games, but people see this. So they know it doesn't have to be that, that someone's there watching. They will find out about the pit riding. And when we have an issue with pit riding, that could shut everybody down. So officially, I'm trying to not cut it out 100%, but 100%. There's no youth riders whatsoever. So unless you're in that, I don't even want to say no youth riders, because if you're 20 and you can get around just fine, you don't need to be on a pit vehicle, period. Not when it's going to be the thing that could cost us at a certain time. You know what I mean? Gotcha. So if you need a pit vehicle, I understand. We have places like Weldon that is, I can see needing a pit vehicle. If you're at a place like this one down here this weekend, It's not very far from one point to the other. There's nobody hardly that needs a pit vehicle. And if you have a challenge that you need it, we can take care of that. That's not a problem. But our problem is the ones that are zipping around right until 10 o'clock at night, cutting through the places and have someone get hurt. We can't have that. So 0 pit riding. That means, is golf carts allowed, Chris?
No.
Yes. Golf carts are allowed.
I say no.
But if you want to lose your golf cart, you get caught having a youth driving it. Youth does not drive golf carts. Youth does not drive adult four-wheelers. Youth does not drive their four-wheelers. Youth does not drive side-by-sides. Make this very clear. During the races, so Friday and Saturday, okay, there's no pit riding with youth at all. If they want to be on the golf cart, they can. But we can't have 6 kids riding around on a golf cart. It just can't. Insurance will have a heyday with this. So,
All right. So I see a question coming in about starting lines. As always, every track at the starting line, the race order is there. Normally for the youth, we know the starting order. It's always the same. 50 production, then it goes 50 stock, and then 50 limited. For our youth class, that starts at 8:30. It is always super mini, 90 production, 70 production, 90 stock, old class. That'd be, 13 to 15, no, 12 to 15. Then it goes 90 stock, 10 and 11, and then 90 stock, 8, 9. So we always know the starting order for kids. Adults varies just depending on track conditions and what's going on. Andy determines that the day before. But when you go to the starting line, there's usually some sort of lineup, and you know what to line up per class. Generally, our first year class, I can get that one right, is always starting last. But other than that, it does fluctuate.
So I can go through it really quick the way we have it set up right now. Okay. Oh, that's wrong. That's not right. We did not have our C classes starting together. So I believe this is it. I feel comfortable enough. I'll go ahead and say this, but I think that's a great question that someone asked there. I've never thought about doing this. I will get a list, maybe laminate it and have it up there at the registration, or maybe even put it on our website or Facebook or something. We can put the starting lineup up there. With this being said, like you mentioned, you did a good job. If, like, say, normally we have AA, then open utility. If we would happen to have a really challenging race, like whether it be a lot of mud or something, there could be some changes. We could move open utility up to the front type situation. Yeah. So, and you mentioned earlier too, if we have, I'm going to look at this here and say, let's just say C26 plus. If all of a sudden we got 40 people there, they might move up. You know what I mean? Yep. It goes by how many people are in the class. But first of all, it goes by the average of the class. And we look at this all year long. So let's say juniors, maybe last year they started, say, 5th row. But a lot of those people graduated and we got new people coming in. And let's say you got that one all-star, you know what I mean? And he can run with the A class. Okay. But he's kind of thrown out, isn't he, Chris? We kind of throw that first one out if it's way out there. We got to look at a majority of the class. So if we get a majority of the class that's averages right behind the C guys, in the overalls, then that's where we'll put them. Yeah, you might have one guy that just is crazy fast in that group, but it is what it is. So we got to look at the majority of the group, and that's kind of how we've laid this out. So I'll go through it really quick, and then we'll post it too. But this first race, we'll be starting with AA, then A, open utility, plus 30, B, plus 40, schoolboy, plus 50, young C, juniors, old C, utility, women's, and then first year. So that'll be the general. Not saying we couldn't make a change. For example, if we have the older C all of a sudden is way quick this year, then we might flip the 2 C classes, you know. The other thing we got to do too, Chris, I'll be really honest with you. If we have 5 people again in the old C and we have 20 in the young C, next year you probably won't have 2 groups. You know, we'll put them together. So the classes that are struggling to stay alive, we'll either rearrange that or we'll put them back together. So that's what happened with the B class, why we lost both sessions there, both groups there. So hopefully that answers that question.
Nice.
Chris, I know we went over. I promised you just an hour. So
yeah.
But I think we've gotten a lot of information out. We haven't done some of our fun stuff with this one. Unfortunately, that wasn't even our plan. You know, we just want to, we've missed too many of them. We know that. I apologize that we've missed this many, but this time with everything going on, it's more of an informative podcast, getting it out there. Want to make sure everybody's safe, trying to save you time getting registered and everything, pre-registered, get you in there safely. The track, I do want to mention on the track, when I say the track, we do have some new guys helping this year on the track. That's really stepped up. And I'm really glad to say that we got Jake Kelsch back. Dean Hansen stepped up to kind of full-time working with us this year. So that's going to be a lot of help. We got a couple other guys that are going to be volunteering on Saturdays primarily. We can't thank them enough because it really, really helps out. We're always looking for more. So, but outside of that, it's really just gotten the information out there. I hope we've gotten the information that everybody needs. Chris, I promise you, I'm not saying I'm promising you I'll do it, but I promise you that we are going to put effort into doing our live updates from the track. Towards the end of last year, we got kind of laxated with it, you know, so, but we will definitely try to it. And one reason to do is like what situation we have this year, our first race with this weather thing. We want to keep everybody informed and stuff. We like to have fun with it. The guys like to kind of let loose, you know. Some people, I won't mention names, but like Big Joe, you know, kind of lets loose too much sometimes. But yeah, I like to have fun with it, inform everybody of what's going on, when they can get there, when the track's going to be done. But there should be absolutely no issues unless the rain is an issue. The track should be ready to go, you know, Friday, late afternoon, no problem at all. So, but yeah. And again, I've had this question a lot from new riders. And man, when I tell you new riders, I'll bet you we've handed out, I wouldn't doubt if I say 50 to 60 numbers. You've seen some of this stuff. I mean, it's crazy.
Today, I mean,
yeah.
Is it too late to get a number? Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's been crazy. So we're real excited. Any other questions? I always tell everybody my number's out there. You can always text me. I had guys today, like I said, at least 2 or 3 guys today texted me numbers. I had it back to them, you know, fairly quick. One was last night that I forgot to get back to you till today. But want to welcome all the new riders, especially the new riders, but even the old ones. Be at that riders meeting early. So if you have a question that's not asked, you know, come up and ask me. If you don't want to do it in front of everybody, come up and ask me, whatever. But the last thing I'll say, Chris, and I want to leave on a down part, but we're not going to play the game of everybody speeding through scoring this year. We're gonna cut that off really quick this year. And I guess I'm not even going to say how we're going to do it, but if I see you, yeah, you're just not going to be wanting to go speeding through scoring this year, plain simple. So we're going to focus more on helping people out on the track instead of me or anybody else having to be stuck there because somebody wants to speed. So we're ready to drop the hammer on that. So listen the first time, listen at riders meeting, understand what you can, what you can't do, get out there, have fun, do the best you can.
Yep.
So
good advice.
Yeah. So if you have is there any other questions that's popped up we need to answer real quick? Or
Nope, I don't see anything else that's come up.
I know I promised you an hour and a half, and we're only a minute and a half from it. So we're going to keep extending it.
Yeah, don't give me coughing here.
So
yeah, there's other questions. I see there was a comment out there about age requirements and bike sizes for classes. It's all in the rules. We expect everybody to follow the rules, and if we find out, as we have in the past, if somebody's the wrong age or not appropriate machine, it's dealt with by yourself, Andy. It's not dealt with by me or anybody at registration. It gets escalated to you, and you may not handle it right there, or may not happen at that race, but it gets handled appropriately behind the scenes.
Yep.
So,
something you and I we have talked about this, and I'm gonna rock your world when I tell you this. You're not going to be laughing, because you'll know what was one of the first things we started doing a podcast I told you I wanted to do, and you shot me down. I let you shoot me down. You remember that? Because you said you didn't want to make people mad.
Oh,
you remember what that was?
No, you go for it.
It's what I labeled when I first started, when you and I talked about what we want to do during a podcast, and it was never organized. We know that. But one of the first things I said is I want to be transparent, because lots of times people think that, well, they never do anything. Well, you don't. The reason they think you don't do anything or you don't hold anybody accountable is because we don't really tell people. We just handle it and move on, right?
Yeah.
So when you and I talked, and I'll put the blame on me, I came up with that thing. I said, I want to do a penalty box. Okay. And Chris, being the nice guy, wants to make everybody happy, says, no way, because we can upset some people. So how we're not going to upset them, Chris, is we're going to tell them up front. And we're going to tell them right now that if you do have a penalty, if you have something like that, it will be talked about on the next podcast. And we will have a penalty box. And maybe we can call it the Power Sports Share penalty box or something like that, where we will discuss it so people actually know what happens. You know, if a lap was pulled or you were DQ'd or you can't come back for a year or such and such. I want to make sure that we're being transparent on some of this stuff. It's not that we haven't been, but just we haven't shared the information. So I can't blame anybody for saying, well, nothing gets done.
Correct. And you got to also back up that not every decision is, there's some decisions that are at your level that you make, but there are other decisions that we lean on our ATV committee as well. Correct. And we'll introduce those in future podcasts as well, that if there is a question or a protest of something, somebody may have cut or lap times don't match or something's not right with their machine, it goes to the committee first. So it's not you or I behind the scenes making decisions. A lot of times it goes to the committee, but also if a rule is broken clearly out of the rule book, that's something that you personally handled. And we've had to do that.
Yep. So I guess all I can say with that is we'll discuss it in detail. We'll make sure everybody knows exactly what happened. It will be called a penalty box because we don't have too many times where we move you up, something. So just remember, and this always comes up, and you know it as well as I do, when someone says, well, it cost me 30, I saved 30 seconds. So just put 30 seconds back on. That's not a penalty. That's not a penalty. That's just saving you the time. If you cut the track, and I'm using those words firmly, if you cut the track, whether it be a mistake, an accident, or whether you might have done it on purpose. I've never heard one person come to me and say they did it on purpose, even when they cut a half a track, Mm-hmm. So I'm not saying they cheated. I'm saying at somehow or another, if you cut the track, the best thing you can do, I'm just using this as an example, Chris. If you and I are racing and you are right in front of me, which we know wouldn't happen, but if you were right in front of me.
It's happened before.
Well, not go-karts. Come on now. But anyway, if you're right in front of me and I get off, let's just say I mistakenly got off and I got off on the previous side-by-side track and I come back on and I come back on right in front of you, you know that you are behind me to start out with. So at least make the thing to make it right. You know what I mean? If you came back and you were in third place and you cut the track and you come out in first place, you know that something's wrong. So one, let scoring know when you come through, hey, something happened. Okay. Honesty will get you a long ways, you know, but
and a lot of respect.
Exactly. Not just to us, but more importantly, your peers. So lots of the times that stuff is an accident. I'm not saying it's not. I'm also saying, Chris, that if you have raced cross country, okay, long enough, it will happen to you. I don't care what series you're in, nothing. It will happen to you at some point because it's just part of our game. You know what I mean? But it's funny because it happens sometimes, but some guys, never happen, or you've seen it. They come up and say, hey, I don't know how I got off of here, la-di-da-di-da, and they make it right, so, but it will be handled. We've been handled the same way, so I just want everybody to understand that, we will be a little bit more transparent. It's not that we haven't been, but we just haven't publicized it. Well, this year, sorry, Chris, I didn't tell you that. I wanted to tell you live, but we will be more transparent. We will have what's called a penalty box on the podcast. So,
all right. Real quick question came in about GoPros. Where can they have them and where can they not?
They can be anywhere except on the helmet. That means anywhere on the helmet. Visor, nowhere. It cannot be. That's the only thing that works at the chin. That's the only thing that works. That's the easiest. It's easier for me to tell you where it can't be than where it can be. Okay. It can be anywhere else, period. You can be on your chest. It can be anywhere. Okay. Ooh, thank you. Just led me into something I got to cover really quick. Very important. But so the helmet cam can be anywhere except anywhere on your helmet. So anywhere but on your helmet. It can be on the machine, the handlebars, the bumper, the fender, the rear bar, no matter where you want it. Okay. Is that pretty good?
Yep.
If not, don't get mad at us because Chris will call me or somebody will come and tell us, guaranteed. And half the time it's your best friend that'll come and tell us. But you will be stopped. I don't care if you're leading or if you're in last place. You will be stopped and we will take it off before you're able to go. You cannot race with it. Okay.
And why is that, Andy?
That is for insurance policy reasons. And just to clarify that, I don't want to go into detail, but do you realize, Chris, every time you say that, well, I've got a JoJo helmet that was designed for it. It's got the little hole that you can put thing in there. If you go back and look on that, everybody says, well, that's crazy because this helmet can do it, right? You realize not one helmet on the market, zero, that even the ones that are designed for it, you look at the box and it'll tell you this helmet was tested without any device in there / helmet cam, because they won't test it in there because it will not live up to their standards with it in there. I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but there's zero helmets that you can have that on, period.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification.
Yes.
Real quick, what's important about chest protectors?
Yes. Thank you. That's what I was going to bring up. Two things. Number one, new for this year, tether. And you and I have argued on this before. Okay. Yeah. And I'm just being transparent, Chris. Chris has done a really good job of stopping people when you may have been stuck, undone your tether, or whatever. And I've seen Chris stop people and say, hey, make sure you get this. And Chris, as well, you and I probably didn't talk for a couple weeks. I'm like, Chris, quit stopping them because we have to make sure that it's hooked up when they leave. But outside of that, I just don't want to ruin their race. And I don't think it's ruining their race. But here's the thing, long story short, it is now listed as it must start anytime that you're on that machine and riding, you must have a tether hooked up. So now you can be pulled over. So if you come through scoring and you don't have a tether, you will be pulled over. Now, that guy that wants to stand back there and watch Chris all the time and say, well, you didn't stop him. Chris's main goal is to be doing the scoring. Okay. That's his main focus. I don't want Chris focused on anything except for that. If he sees something then he will say something, or we will, or whatever. But so I just want to be clarified, because, you know, there's going to be that person where I get stopped. Well, why didn't he? You know, it's whoever we see that's like that. Easiest thing is everybody just do it right. Tether's got to be hooked up on at all times. And that is a rule that every AMA series, including GNCC, should be following right now. But chest protector, I don't think you and I even need to go into that subject on why it's so important. I'm going to be very quick on it, but Chris and I have both seen a person lose his life because of handlebars going through the chest. Okay. And it's not something you want to think about or repeat. And we definitely don't want to happen to our race family. I know it's uncomfortable for some, and I know that there's communication going on right now, and I'm not picking on anybody, but we have some of the bigger riders have said, I'm just uncomfortable. They're not made for my size, such and such. I know that is a conversation that is in the works right now. And here's why. I meant to get this to you, Chris, and I didn't get it done. There's a thing that came out, and it clearly says at the bottom, it's got a helmet, okay? I mean, a chest protector. And it says for 2027, everyone must have a chest protector on. But at the bottom, it says MX such and such. That is an MX rule for this year. Part of my AMA commission, I set in on this when this rule was developed and made. But they also warned us, okay, that is only for MX this year. But for 2027, that will 100% pass in AMA Congress to be a rule for next year. So I highly advise it's, and just to clarify, that passed 2 years ago for kids, any youth rider. All youth riders must have a chest protector. That's been the last 2 years. Maybe we haven't publicized that enough, but every kid must have a chest protector in order to be able to race. Okay. But adults, it's not mandatory. That's only in motocross right now. But in AMA for 2027, I promise you that will be a rule that every adult must have a chest protector on. And it goes into clarification on which rib, or like say T5 or T6 must be covered type thing. I don't have that on me right now. It will be the exact same. I am almost positive of how the MX rule is written. But that will be a rule for 27. Not to be mean, I heard this at the banquet a couple times. A couple people told me, said, well, I better have fun because this will be my last year because I'm not racing with a chest protector on. And I can say I hope you reconsider that, but that will be the rule for 2027. And Chris and I would be the two worst people to come up and argue that about, because the thing that can happen, you know, 1 out of 1,000 times, unfortunately, we witnessed it. Chris was the closest person to witnessing it, and I know it haunts Chris to this day. And I don't want it to haunt your family. So we will be very strict on that as well. So I hope I clarified that.
Yeah.
Okay. So any other quick questions? I know I held you to an hour 45 and we're almost there.
No, no other questions I see. So, I mean, very informational. Good to get back on the bandwagon, so to speak, with the podcast. Hopefully we'll get these going weekly again. We just have sports coming up. I think Tuesday is the day we kind of landed on for now, till we see what next sport we're going to do in our household, which is softball coming up in a couple weeks. So
nice. Yeah. Well, and one thing is we'll have more fun. We'll have more guests. We got some really cool stuff to talk about, which is we just both felt that, unfortunately, with the situation and us kind of being laxated the last month, you know, we probably should have been doing this. We just really need to get as much information out that we could. So get everybody caught up on the little stuff, and there'll always be more. But I'll tell you what, Chris, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just all the new riders I don't think it is. No, I know it's not just all the new riders that have signed up. We've got riders from the past families that are coming back this year. We have the Penland whole situation this year that is blowing up right now. I'll tell you one thing that's really getting me going. I am more excited this right now than I can remember ever being. Oh gosh, here we go. But ever being in the last 20 years, Chris. And it's because of what I'm seeing online with the families. And I say the kids are doing a great job, but man, it's the families that are doing the great job. When I see all these kids out there practicing, and I see a practice day down in Melcher, I see a practice day over in Muscatine or close to there somewhere, I see kids around Des Moines, are getting together. And I have kids, new parents call me and say, where can we go to a track and practice? Number one, absolutely not. But number two, you get to know people, and there's going to be riding areas open up for you to go out and ride with people and get used to it. And Chris, I think you will 100% agree with me, maybe the first time ever on this, but we are seeing kids. Now, if you just come, and I'm going to hold adults to this thing too, because I get some adults saying, well, he must be cheating because he's getting faster and faster, and not trying to be mean, but I know the people, or at least I think I do. I can tell the people that don't ride in between, but somehow thinks that magic should happen and I'd be faster. Yeah. And then you see the kids over here, and I could start mentioning names, but I know one that comes to my mind right away I'm going to mention is like the Faulkners. Yeah. How many videos do you see of them out there? Thank God they got a brother or sister saying, are out there practicing. I mean, I could use 20 more families probably.
I saw Yarrington's.
Yeah.
Yarrington's were. I think I just saw a video out there that Addie posted. Yarrington's were out there, so it's it's good to have that sibling to push you along, but just the exposure of the kids and already getting the experience, and some kids have already been racing three times already.
Yep.
If they're racing with GNCC or others, down Missouri, so. We see it. It's good to see that everybody's getting out there already and getting started early on the season.
But with these parents stepping up and having these ride days, isn't it cool? Not one of those pictures I've seen of the kids playing, and even inside, I haven't seen a telephone at all.
Oh,
they're out there, they're playing, they're learning stuff. The more I learn about, I don't even know who it was here not too long ago was telling me that they've been teaching the kid, how to change the oil, and they're washing it, and stuff like that. It's like, it's amazing. And these kids are moving along from learning to ride to going, you and I both see from the beginning of the race or the season, which we have the toughest track, very first race, but from the first race to seventh race, the difference, if you stand, sometimes you don't notice it when it's your own kid. But when it's not your kid, you can stand back and you're like, that's not the same little girl, the same little boy that raced the first race, is it? Because now it's like a whole different world. Mm-hmm. But now we're seeing that halfway through the season or even before the season where these parents are doing these ride things and they're creating these opportunities to get out and be part of the, the real world, as far as like the air and the fresh air and not on their phone talking or playing games, and it's just amazing. These kids, the opportunities that they're getting. And I'm so proud of the families getting together and doing that stuff. That warms my heart. That is so cool. So yeah. But this should be what's bugging Chris tonight. You're the one that's had this sick bug for how long?
It feels like it's been forever.
Well, like I said, I held you at an hour 50 and we're getting really close. So that's truly all I got. Again, a lot of information, but man, I could go on and on. Stories and stories and how proud we are and stuff of them. It's just amazing, We do have, I always say this, there's one more quick thing I got to say, because, outside of all these stuff that we've talked about, and this happens, but I'm getting all kinds of calls now or questions about how do you get on a t-shirt? How do you do that? How do you get on a t-shirt? So really quick, some of it is chosen by us. Yes, no doubt about it. But some of it is chosen by who the sponsor is for that race. If they're just a Honda dealer, like for instance, Midwest Performance, we typically will have just Hondas. I think they got Yamahas too, so it can be Honda, Yamaha. And if you're a Cowie guy asking, can I get on the shirt? Probably not, because they're not a So a lot of it depends. If you have a sponsor like Chris's mowing shop, wants to sponsor the series or be the sponsor for that race, the first thing I do is go to Chris and say, hey, do you have any riders that you're affiliated with, or do you would like to see on there? That's how it happens. So outside of that, I can tell you right now, if you're I won't say family, but your race group or the youth or the adult or whoever it might be, if you're involved in a situation, it probably won't happen. Sportsmanship's number one, on that thing. So there's a lot of factors that play into it. But that is, so most of the time going into the season, we have the sponsor sewn up. We got one sponsorship that's not sewn up yet. Depending on what that one goes, there could be a difference in who's on that shirt. Weldon is not sewn up yet for some reason. So we're still working on that one for sure. But again, that's kind of how it happens. So it's not all the time me showing favoritism or me showing this. Lots of times it's stuff that happen, and cool things that happen, and we reward them for that, But some of us who've been here for a long time, haven't been on a shirt, we try to get you on. We've seen situations. Last year we had a sponsor, and it was a first-year rider. Didn't even race every race, and he was on a shirt, because he was affiliated with that sponsor. So it's just a bunch of different stuff goes in. But I can tell you the one that doesn't usually get on, and that's the one that will usually get a little aggressive in asking how to get on. Oh, there that one goes. So, but anyway, I just want that hazard came up, and we're about to that 2:50 or hour 51. I told you so.
Yeah, we're over that hour and 50. So, anything else bugging you, Andy, before we wrap it up? Anything you've wrote down there? Anything going on in that tiny brain of yours?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I said my one last thing enough times already. So
one more thing. So, all right.
Well, you get feeling better. We'll get some more people on here to have some more fun, and really, more than I've ever said this in the last couple of years, Chris, I'm really, really looking forward to it, even with the rain this weekend.
I am too. I mean, it's been a long off season, even though we got to see, everyone at the banquet, but getting back to what we all do best, so to speak, it's where everybody feels right, and good to see everybody. So,
yep, exactly.
We'll see you all in a few days.
Sounds good. Thanks, Chris.
All right. We'll talk to you later, buddy.